Mask here, and I'm going to be doing what I call charging. And like we talked about earlier, it's really important during the marker training to give the food reward a meaning. So what I'm going to use is the word yes and good, while at the same time, and he's really food motivated, you can tell, is by giving it a meaning by saying yes and good, at the same time popping a treat or a portion of his food. So this is how it works. Yes. Yes. Good. Yes. 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 Good. Good. So I say the word yes, and then I give it a treat. So I pause in between. Yes. Yes. Good. 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 Yes. Good. This also teaches focus as well. Dog is focused on me, so it's a good thing. Yes. Yes. Another time to do this is during feeding time. As the dog is eating, you simply sit back and say yes and good as it's eating. Therefore, it'll learn to associate the word yes and good to its food. Right? Right, Mask? Good boy. Just like humans have their personalities, dogs have what we call temperament. Each individual dog has its own different temperament, therefore needing sometimes a different way to learn different behaviors. Some dogs might be what we call hard dogs or difficult, more dominant dogs, and some dogs are more softer in temperament. But I've found the most effective way to do training in the fastest way is through marker training. And marker training is defined as associating something good to a good behavior, or in psychological terms, it's called operant conditioning. So all of my training, of course, uses operant conditioning or marker training because it does just that. It rewards the good behavior with something good. And in this case, marker training, we're going to be using treats or its own food. Now, I strongly suggest when doing marker training that you take the dog's daily rations and take a portion of it and put it in your pocket. This way you always have it available should you see a behavior that you like within your dog, and you can exercise what I like to call auto training, which is simply walking up to your dog, you see it sitting, perfect, you can reach into your pocket and just simply walk up and say good sit or good down or good stay. This way the dog is associating something good to its behavior. So the dog is thinking, wow, I just got rewarded and I just got this tasty little treat or some food for being calm or for sitting or for laying down. That's marker training. Another way is with marker training is during the process of you teaching it to sit or lay down, as the body is moving into position, that's when you want to say yes, and through the association of yes and the treat, which is done in the very baiting process or what I call charging process in the marker training, the dog has learned to associate the word yes to the food. So pretty soon you can wean off of the food, and when the dog hears yes or good, it's going to feel as though it got a treat or reward because it's been conditioned to think that way. So this is how marker training basically works. And once again, I always keep a portion of its daily rations and not food that you get at a store or treats, because this has a tendency to make a dog or a puppy overweight if overused. And an unhealthy fat dog normally grows up to be an unhealthy fat older dog, which leads to some problems with dogs that are prone to hip dysplasia, like the German Shepherds or Labradors, or any other breed for that matter. Extra weight is not good for a puppy, as it has a tendency to hinder in its development process. And most importantly, fat puppy most of the time grows up to be a fat dog. So keep that in mind when doing your marker process, is to use its portion of its daily rations for the marker training. When doing marker training and teaching a new behavior, it might be necessary to use an alternative to its current food in order to really imprint the behavior that you truly want. Place a value structure on your rewards. For example, its regular food might be good for a behavior that's already learned, but when teaching a new behavior, it might be necessary to use a reward with a higher value structure to it. What I like to use are pork skins. Yes, they crumble, and that's one of the downfalls to it. But other than that, it's very, very low in protein. There are no carbs in it, or very low carbs, and it's natural. Most importantly, all the dogs I've worked with simply love them, and they're very inexpensive versus the treats that you're going to find in a store. So keep that in mind, is to try to find out exactly what your dog likes as a reward. Sometimes food is its reward, and in other instances, a favorite toy might be its reward. But only use a toy if you really want to imprint a prey drive within your dog. But just for general obedience, a majority of dogs, great majority of them, are food driven. So keep that in mind when teaching a new behavior, is the value structure of the food in teaching new behaviors. For example, the most difficult thing to learn for a dog is the down and the stay. So when teaching this new behavior, choose a really good reward and use the regular food for behaviors it already knows. So keep that in mind.